questions from you.
All right, appreciate everybody coming. Just start out with, I just got back. Our thoughts and prayers and support go out to Greg Bird, our athletic trainer, and his family. Greg's father, Chester, last week passed away. This morning was his memorial. Although not a alum, he was a South Florida Bull through and through. At every one of our games, most of the women's games, every football game. Greg ran track here, so he'd go to track events. Him and his wife were at all those. So we lost a good one last week, and obviously Greg's impact on our program, not just even in the day-to-day, but if you look at what his job's entailed over the last 3 years with everything, he's gone beyond the call of duty. So important part of our program, and feel for him and his family today. As we start off, yesterday, first day of school, today will be our first day of workouts for the fall. Really excited about this group. Kind of showed some of their improvement in the spring with our returners. Those guys gained a lot of experience last year. And some of them you started to see really come into their own and the type of player that we expect them to be. I think they're all going to take big jumps. And in this day and age, sometimes it gets overlooked. And 5 years ago, we would have been talking about, and everybody would have been extremely excited about our 2 freshmen coming from 2 historical, great high school programs that had great success in high school, highly ranked, recruited at the highest level in Doc and Ryan Conwell. And they've had great summers. This is the first time in the last 3 summers that we've had a full summer of workouts where there was no either interruptions or we could even get together as a full unit and go every day without some of the interruptions, like I said, that we've had in the past. It's really benefited Ryan and Doc in terms of not only getting them 6 credit hours this summer and understanding what it means to be a student here, but obviously with the daily workouts and so forth. Most impressive thing about those 2 guys is just their work capacity for young players is tremendous. Not just our workouts and the weights and the conditioning, but getting in extra and doing the stuff that they need to do. Ryan obviously is physically ready to play at this level. He's one of our strongest players as a freshman. And Doc, with his length and athletic ability, has made some impacts not only in the individual skill stuff, but in the team workouts this summer. Sometimes those guys get overlooked because of this new day and age of the transfer market and different things like that. And obviously we couldn't be more excited about our recruiting efforts in the transfer portal last spring, bringing in 3 4-star type recruits in Selton Miguel from Kansas State, Keyshawn Bryant from South Carolina, and obviously Tyler Harris from Memphis. They bring a vast amount of experience at the highest level and success as individual players. And the one thing I know is all 3 of them played for 3 really, really good coaches. Selton's played started over 40 games in the Big 12 in 2 years. Keyshawn, as a junior, averaged 15 points a game in the SEC. Last year was banged up a little bit with injuries. Didn't really start playing extended minutes and effectively until the end of the season, where he started the last 16 games for him. And then obviously Tyler's no stranger to our league. Was an all-freshman team in our league 4 years ago. Was an all-time leading 3-point shooter at Memphis. Only played 20 minutes a game last year on obviously an NCAA tournament team, but averaged almost 10 points a game in that very, not limited, but not as extensive amount of time. So feel very good about those guys and their transition into our program and what they're going to be able to bring. I think that a couple key areas that we've improved in, not only through the recruiting, but through the growth of our current returning players, is obviously we're much more experienced at competing at this level than we were a year ago at this time. and those guys have had success at this level, which is important. I think we're faster. I think we're mentally and physically, one of the things that you can see is there's a competitiveness and a toughness that those guys have brought. And I think it's just going to make a big impact on our daily progress as a team. So very, very excited about that. Last topic before I kind of open it up is just our league schedule probably won't come out for another few weeks or so, but our non-conference really positions us well for creating the strength of schedule, RPI, and the challenges that you want to face in the non-conference. Obviously, with a very good home slate against teams like Hofstra, that's going to be projected to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in their league. UMass under Frank Martin, with the roster overhaul, obviously we know what you get when you play a Frank Martin team, and UMass obviously with a great basketball tradition. The other teams that we scheduled at home are teams that we all, through our research, have projected to have better years than they had last year, which again starts building that. And then you talk about the road games. Second game of the year, you go to Auburn, top 10 team in the country. We also scheduled the Missouri Valley champion from last year, Northern Iowa, playing there as a tremendous basketball environment, well-coached team by Ben, and then playing in the Daytona tournament open up against another NCAA tournament team in UAB, and with Georgia and a very good Atlantic 10 team, St. Joe's, on the other side. So the non-conference schedule, as difficult as it becomes now, I thought we did a great job of, like I said, positioning ourselves, if we go out there and take care of business and play the way we're supposed to play, of putting us in position with the strength of schedule, with the net ranking and all that, for our postseason aspirations. So feel good about that. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Brian, when last season ended, Russel Tchewa seemed to be coming into his own, putting a nice body of work. How do you kind of see him transitioning into this season?
Yeah, so I think it's important to kind of touch on the Russell situation right now, make everybody kind of aware of it and understanding where we're at. A little bit of background. A year ago, after the COVID year and all those different things, I thought it was important that our guys get home. Russell had not been home in 4 or 5 years at that particular point. So we set it up. He went back to Cameroon, had all the paperwork because he had to re-up his student visa, took care of all the stuff that needed to be taken care of, went to Cameroon, and in 2 days he had his student visa, passport stamp, and was able to spend a month there. Our plan heading into this summer was for him not to go home this summer. But a situation back at home where his father became very sick with COVID, Russell came to me and asked if he would be able to get home for 3 or 4 weeks to see his family, especially after that traumatic experience in the spring. So going through the process, we okayed it. We did all the paperwork. Russell did all the paperwork, went back to Cameroon, went to the embassy, turned in all the paperwork, same exact process as we went through 12 months earlier. And that's led us to this situation that we're in right now. We are continuing to assist Russell in his attempt to get his student visa approved from Cameroon to the United States. It has not been approved yet by the United States. It's been a lengthy process. We're coming on 4 months right now. This initial meeting was May 9th. We've been through this. I've coached international players. Our athletic department has done a tremendous job with international players. So we understand the process of getting the student visa. We understand the importance of doing the proper vetting, the importance of understanding that throughout the country there's a lot of visa processes going through. So we completely understand that. It's our understanding that Russell's application has been flagged. They needed additional information. He immediately filled that additional information out. All the information that has been turned in from the reports we've got back is correct. There's no issue regarding Russell that is pertaining to the flag or anything from our knowledge and the information that we've received. So we're hopeful that as this process continues, that it's expedited and so forth. What have we done? That's important, you know, as you go through this. We have had unbelievable and great assistance from on campus in terms of South Florida's international offices. They've been a tremendous asset. We've solicited and asked for and received tremendous support and service from a lot of our state governmental agencies and representatives, senators, congressmen, different things like that as well, in terms of helping us and trying to get the assistance that we need in that. They've been beyond a call of duty on that stuff. One other thing that's important on that is that we're remaining in constant contact with the State Department for as much information as they can give, as is Russell. We're in constant contact with Russell on a daily basis. I had another Zoom call with him this morning as well. We have also taken the steps. If you know, Russell is scheduled to graduate in December and then start his master's degree in January. So a big issue was the classwork and so forth. He is doing all his classwork remotely on online classes, and although difficult because of the time difference and where he lives, the availability to proper Wi-Fi and so forth, it's a challenge. There's no doubt about it. At the end of the day, ultimately, what this is about is Russel Tchewa's welfare and the ability to access all the opportunities that is afforded to him as a student here at South Florida, in terms of the academics, the academic assistance, the training, obviously, and we're obviously trying to expedite this and push this and get as much information, get it done as fast as possible, because to be quite honest, this has been a strain on him and a strain on his family. Where he's from, his family is not accustomed to having Russell around this long, and in a lot of situations, maybe not built for that as well. To have the 7-foot, 270-pound guy, the grocery bills are going off the charts. You know what I mean? So we're hopeful that as we continue to move forward and the information is being passed back and forth, that we can get that done as quickly as possible. Because as you said, at the end of last year, Russell was as good as any post player in our league. Very, very effective offensively and defensively. He had as good a spring as anybody in the program in terms of his work ethic, in terms of development, in terms of, like I said in the beginning, so many of our guys gain that experience at this level and use that to kind of springboard them into a successful spring. Because of this situation, Russell was chosen to play on the Cameroon national team. He was not able to do that because he wasn't able to travel. So when you look at it, there's been, you know, obviously everybody is as I said, done a tremendous job in helping us. But there's a little sense of urgency right now for us and for Russell.
Coach, in his absence, who's been working out at the 5 spot for you?
So obviously Doc, as a freshman, has gotten more reps than maybe he would have. And we've also, in the summer during our team workouts, have had to go small and play with Corey and Jake and kind of spread the court and played 5 out. It's allowed us to kind of implement the faster pace that we want to play at. As you know, we were at about a 65, 66 possession a game clip last year. You guys have been around me long enough. It's never going to just be up and down because we defend too well for that to happen. But we have to be in the 70s possession-wise. And emphasizing us playing faster and attacking in the open court is something that's been critical. And obviously, Russell is as good as any big guy around at running the court, so it's also one of the reasons we're implementing that. But without him, we've had to go more 5-out type looks in our practices.
You had me at 5 out.
I hear you. I hear you.
After the Memphis game, one of the things you said about Corey Walker was that his daily habits had to improve. How's his offseason been, and is he making progress in that?
He is making progress. To his credit, in terms of just everything. Yeah, I think he was a product of, again, you're going to see this for the next couple of years. I think he was a product of the COVID situation. No practice, isolation, all those different things. And so he never really had a true freshman experience. So that was what he went through last year with us. And you do usually see a big growth between freshman and sophomore years, and we've seen that. He's done very well in the classroom. Workout-wise, getting in the extra work during the workouts has been very good. He's a very talented player, and just just like everybody, different levels. But as he continues to mature in those daily habits, he's going to become more productive, and his performances are going to improve. But I've been, again, the key is the progress that is being made, and you see it on a daily basis with Corey.
Ryan, on the Russ situation that described, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but is it an error? Why was this flagged? What's the situation? Why did this happen?
From all indications, again, the information that Russell provided and then the additional information is all correct, so we don't think it's an issue there. And other than that, again, it's our belief that there's no other reason due to something with him that it was flagged. So at this particular point, some of that information we're not privy to, so it would be haphazard to try to guess on that.
So, but it's your understanding that there's as much being done as possible at the moment? Do you need to appeal to others or?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of appealed out right now. I mean, like I said, our elected officials have been asked and have come to the battle with us. They've done a great job. Their support and their inquiries and so forth. And I think sometimes it's just at a point you just got to keep on that same path, and that's what we're hopeful, that it gets to the top of the pile and it gets cleared, and then we're ready to go.
And the issue is the United States letting him into the country.
That is, it's not with Cameroon, it's with the United States. Correct. Their approval of the student visa, which 12 months earlier was approved, and every time when he came here from, it's been approved.
Some new thing is cropped into the paperwork somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Coach, I know I coached college basketball during the Mesolithic era, and it's changed a lot, but in 1976, I went to a clinic, and Norm Sloan made the most impactful statement to me when he said, we have our basketball meetings in the morning at breakfast, because kids get up and now they got to go to class. What advantage is that?
It's a big advantage, and one of the things that I think 3 years ago we implemented here, which has had a huge impact, not just on men's basketball, but all our athletes, is the ability to have breakfast at Champions right there, right attached to the arena. Football, basketball, all our athletes are able to go there and have a training table meal breakfast. So our schedule is all based on that first meal. Guys sometimes get a workout in before, maybe a film session with us. They always have to be there a half an hour before their first academic requirement, so you know that they're up, moving around. Now times have changed since the golden age when you were coaching. Guys aren't going to as many classes as they used to. 2 classes, maybe 2 online. So they come over to this building, to the Fishman Center, and do either their study hall or their tutoring at that time as well. So getting in front of the guys and touching them early, and making sure that they've started the day the right way, and fueling the tank, so to speak, is really critical.
Coach, you talked about the 3 guys coming in. Bruce Weber retired at Kansas State. Were you in the Big Ten at the same time with him? Did you have a relationship with Coach Weber at all?
We were longtime assistants in the Big Ten. Yep, and obviously my mentor, my first one, Coach Heathcote, and his coach Katie were the best of friends. So our staffs were very, very close. Aging myself, but even coach, when Bruce was the assistant at Purdue and I was at Michigan State, Matt Painter was playing. at Purdue at the time. You know, so, and then when he went to Illinois, when Bruce did, we played them when I was at Dayton. We played them in the NIT. So I have an unbelievable amount of respect for Bruce and what he's done and what he did at Kansas State, which I think records will show maybe the best coach that's ever coached there. And obviously getting one of his players, he's game ready. You know, like I said, started over 40 games. The one thing about Keyshawn and Tyler and Selton, you think of some of the venues that they've competed in. You know what I mean? It ain't like they're going to be